Hello, guys. I hope you're very well. My name is Martin, and today I would like to talk about the root causes of procrastination and self sabotage, and um, also fundamentally why we are um, self sabotaging ourselves and procrastinating. But before we go any further, I would like you to give me a like, subscribe, and comment also here in this video. So I would like to primarily mention that in what we're going to do here in this video is we're going to discover and explore the root causes of, as I said, procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome. And the main reasons why people are procrastinating, self-sabotaging themselves, and have all these issues, you could say they are. We can break them down into two different categories. One is mental reasons or mental causes, including on the subconscious level, such as beliefs, personal beliefs about oneself or the world. And the second one is also physiological. So the main thing is that we need to understand is that in order to address any one of these issues like self-sabotage, procrastination, or imposter syndrome, it's very important to um, it's very important to identify the root cause, because if we only treat or try to address these issues using strategies, then those strategies may not suffice, because every strategy generally requires a lot of energy. And it turns out that a lot of people tend to be already depleted in energy. On the physical level, the root causes of procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome, they may have to do with internal organ imbalances. And this is very oftentimes something that you can find out by studying Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, or other forms of Oriental or alternative forms of medicine. But in Chinese medicine, things like deficiency of qi and yang qi of the kidneys, which can be also comparable to adrenal gland deficiency, it can lead into procrastination. It can lead into basically laziness and not lack of desire to actually go ahead and do things. Same thing when liver becomes stagnant. So people who are under a lot of stress or are on certain medications, they may have liver stagnation, which can actually result in also stasis, difficulty making decisions, for example. So in general, in life, to succeed, we have to be able to make easy and clear decisions, think clearly, and be able to have the determination and the willpower to go ahead and achieve whatever it is we want to achieve. So the important thing is, once again, on the mental level, it is important to figure out what is the root cause. Same thing on the physical. If we can figure out both the mental and the physical, that way we can actually help the person to correct the underlying issues and be able to move forward to become a lot more productive. Fundamentally, the key thing, if we were to go to explore the mental causes of why people procrastinate, self-sabotage themselves, and have imposter syndrome, is because on the subconscious level they have certain beliefs about themselves, about the world, um, like, for example, that they're not good enough, or they're not enough, they can never be good enough, or that they've tried before and nothing worked so far, which is a big generalization, because nothing worked doesn't mean that nothing worked. It's just the things that they tried did not work. But obviously, there are so many things, so many other things we can try that can work. So people tend to generalize, saying, "Oh, I tried everything, but it didn't work." And at the same time, they only tried some things, but not everything there is, because again, there are a lot of choices that people are not aware of, like NLP, hypnotherapy, you know, uh, Chinese medicine, acupuncture, things like that, that can actually help us to correct those underlying issues. So yes, so certainly on the psychological level, on the subconscious level, a lot of people run subconscious programs that lead into self-sabotage, that lead into procrastination, because fundamentally those programs that are running underneath are actually trying to protect the person from failure, from overexpending their energy, for example. Um, so it's very important to figure out what is the purpose, function, role, and intention fundamentally of the self-sabotage, of the procrastination or the imposter syndrome, because they all have a function, and usually it's something along the lines of protecting us from something. Um, so without having a clear picture of why this is happening, again, people can waste a lot of time and a lot of energy on methods that are very superficial. Like, for example, strategies. Strategies can work up to a point, but as I said, they can require a lot of energy to proceed. They're still very valuable, but the mindset itself and the underlying beliefs and the patterns that are running underneath in our subconscious is what we need to tweak up and upgrade in order to make them a lot more efficient for us. Um, so again, things like beliefs, like I'm not good enough. That can be, the person may want to do all kinds of things, but if that belief I'm not good enough is there, and it keeps on repeating itself in the mind, the person keeps on repeating it over and over again, then that belief itself can can actually stop the person from um, moving forward with whatever task they are um, undertaking. Same thing can happen if the person is saying, "This is too much, this is too much." They keep on repeating themselves instead of realizing that if something is too much, the truth is you can break it down. That's a strategy that you can actually do. And you can tell yourself, I can break this down. That can become also a belief as well. So we have to change the beliefs, like, I'm not good enough, to I can do it. Anything is possible to me. I can handle it. I can figure it out. And then change the strategies, like, instead of trying to do it all in one shot, know what you want to do, and then break it down into small chunks so that you can actually do one bit at a time. And with every time you succeed, celebrate. Do something to celebrate. Like, simply pat yourself on your shoulder, for example. Something to anchor, do something to anchor the positive emotion or feeling associated with progress. Because a lot of people anchor a lot of negative sort of feedback. and they kind of leave themselves at that. They again, they keep on generating fear and doubt and hesitation and disbelief that they cannot do something. They keep on telling themselves too hard or maybe even too easy, and so they keep on postponing something until later. But in fact, those are things that are generated by the mind. Usually, when we start doing something, like for example, when it comes to swimming or exercise, the moment you start to swim or exercise, you find out it's not so bad. You get into the rhythm, and things start to get better and better, and you realize that the water wasn't so cold after all, and that the exercise wasn't too difficult after all either. But it's all about starting somewhere. Sometimes I think of this like painting a painting. When you paint a painting on a canvas, you have to start with an initial point. Say you want to draw a tree. Sometimes you just draw a stroke, and it doesn't look like anything. You know what your original outcome is, but you don't know exactly how you're going to do that. You just go along, right? You draw one stroke, second stroke, and then finally, you draw another stroke, and then it starts to look like a tree with branches. And then you maybe add another color, and soon enough, it looks like a beautiful tree. So this the to me, the way we create anything in life is like art. It's a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And that's something that Earl Nightingale actually said, that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so whatever we want in life, first we need to have an idea, a vision, and a picture of that, so that at least we know what we want and where we're going. It's also very good to generate a specific feeling with that picture. So for example, imagine yourself doing something that you want to do, that you have difficulty doing, but doing it with excitement, for example, with curiosity, rather than just trying to force yourself and work like a robot. Um, Try being playful. Try taking it a little bit lighter than before, because perfectionism is unfortunately the enemy of execution. People try to be perfect and they overwhelm themselves. I've done it to myself many times personally, and yeah, you can force yourself. I try to, for example, force myself, but when we approach something from a place of excitement, discovery, exploration, curiosity, fun, playfulness, it becomes a completely different approach that is a lot more efficient, because when there's playfulness, there's no worry necessarily of making mistakes or not being perfect. So we have to start somewhere. We have to have an idea where we are going, and all we need to do is just take action. Simple action, as simple as like when you paint a tree on a canvas. You've got to simply pick up the brush and dip it in and start painting it on the painting on the canvas. And soon enough, you have a beautiful painting. But it starts with a single stroke or a single dot. That's the beginning. But again, we have to keep in mind the outcome that we want. And most importantly, we need to see ourselves where we are going. So unless we understand the root causes of the procrastination, self-sabotage, or imposter syndrome, it's very difficult to transform that. Again, there's all kinds of different strategies out there. There's lots of books about what to do. But again, we need to access the subconscious mind in order to identify the pattern, the blueprint, the program and what needs to be changed. And the way we do that, I'm going to give you a very simple way to do this. And I'd like you to try this, so before you try this, just close your eyes, and I want to ask you a question. What is the purpose, role, function, and intention of procrastination, of self-sabotage, of imposter syndrome? Keep your eyes closed and just let me know. Just say it out loud and write it down. Maybe it's protection, to protect you. The question is, to protect you from what? Protect you perhaps from failure, or being less than perfect, for example, or looking really like somebody who is a complete amateur. So ask yourself each one of these questions individually. What is the purpose of self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, and procrastination? Perhaps it's also to conserve energy, like I said. Because sometimes when we are running low on energy, the mind is going to step in to protect us so that we don't overexhaust ourselves. So then once you get maybe one or two answers, ask the next question. What is the role of procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome? Ask yourself, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what is the role of procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome? So it could be to keep you well, to keep you from overexerting yourself, for example, to keep you safe, to keep you in a safe place where you don't have to make mistakes or expend too much energy, for example. So then move to the next question and ask yourself, what is the function of the procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome? What is the function of procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome? And the function, the function of the, and then say it out loud, the function of the self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, and procrastination is, fill in the blank, and just say, the function, the function of the imposter syndrome, self-sabotage, and procrastination is, again, to keep you safe, perhaps. It could be to, so you can, by the way, I would appreciate if you guys, whoever's listening to this, send me your comment. Write down what your purpose, what your function, what your role, what the intention of your procrastination, self-sabotage, and your imposter syndrome is. That'd be very much appreciated, so that we can discuss these topics a little bit more in depth and find a solution for a lot of people out there. So the function, so the role of the imposter syndrome, procrastination, self-sabotage is, fill in the blank. To protect, to keep me in my comfort level, to keep me safe from failure, from looking silly out there, from making mistakes, from being less than perfect, from not facing um, the situation to figure out how to solve it, because we need to, whenever we don't know how to do something, we have to figure out how to do it, right? So sometimes that how to can be a bit discouraging, because when we don't know, we kind of look for easy ways out, and sometimes that how can be overwhelming, but not always. We can also ask ourselves, so how can I make this, how can I achieve this goal in an easier, in an easy and effortless, pleasant way? So, for example, it could be to take one step at a time, one step at a time. But the key thing, you have to start. You have to start somewhere rather than wait for a specific opportunity. There's a saying, the new tomorrow is now. And when is the best thing to do something now? It's now. So we go to the next question. Once again, what is the function? We have the purpose, role, function. What is the function of procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome? So the function of this, and then you answer. Keep your eyes closed, and then you answer it. The function of my procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome is fill in the blank. To protect me from looking perhaps like a goof, from protecting me from appearing less than perfect to the external world, for example, because so many of us try to be perfect so that the world doesn't judge us, because we tend to judge ourselves because of what we were taught since we were children. So again, ask yourself the same thing. The function of procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome is to keep me safe, for example. And then ask yourself, what is the role of procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome? And then again, the role of procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome is, and fill in the blank. And this, you see, I'm closing my eyes here and there so that I can also give you possible answers, because I'm trying to access that. So you can do the same thing. By closing your eyes, you can access your subconscious mind a little bit easier. So I encourage you just to simply close your eyes and let the answer come to you. So the role of self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, and procrastination is to keep me safe, to protect me from failure, from looking like a complete goof, like a loser, whatever it may be. So once you identify the purpose, the role, the function, the intention, also ask yourself, what does it do for you? What does it give you? What does it get you? And what has it cost you so far? So what has the procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome cost you so far? Perhaps it's a better lifestyle, better health, or much better lifestyle. Perhaps it's millions of dollars that you could have earned. Much better life. Perhaps it's because you settled for a low level lifestyle, and now it's maybe time to raise your threshold of comfort so that you can actually, and your standard of living, so that you don't have to be at that lower level. So if you are right here, if this is your current standard of living, you may need to shift the standard of living. Just imagine that here's where you are right now. Say you want to be a multimillionaire and a very successful person. Shift your standard just in your imagination, create a new level. Say this is where you're earning X amount of money, you're doing this and that, you have this kind of a relationship and so forth. So raise this standard up to here, standard of life. Because you see, what happens is if you don't change the standard in your mind, then what happens is your subconscious mind will always try to go back to what is familiar. So you have to make the unfamiliar familiar. You have to, and you have, by using your imagination, you can raise the standard simply in your mind, create a new standard that's much higher, like a new level. So for example, here's your one level where you are, raise it up, and you imagine there's another much better level where you're living the life of your dreams, the life you truly want, and that's truly desired. So raise your standard. Very important. And do that little simple exercise by imagining that you're raising the platform. Like if the platform is here, you raise it up and you never bring it down. You leave the platform up there. Because what happens is a lot of people, if they achieve something great in life, and if they don't change the standard in their mind, they'll go back to where they were before. So on this new standard, you have to imagine yourself, see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel, experience yourself doing, feeling, experiencing whatever it is you want to desire and want in your life. Earning a certain amount of money, having a certain type of relationship, having certain type of health. So set the new standard for yourself by lifting the platform of standard up and leaving it up there. As otherwise, there's a, as I said, propensity to go back to the lower standard as it was before because it's comfortable and because it's familiar. So we have to break out of that. So again, we have to identify what does it give you? What does it do for you? You have to ask yourself, what does my procrastination, self-sabotage, and my imposter syndrome give me, get me, do for me, and cost me? Give me, get me, do for me, and cost me. Very likely it doesn't give you anything. It very likely leaves you where you are before, probably struggling, complaining about life, and thinking that's the way it is. And it probably costs you, a much better life that you could have, a much healthier, a much more prosperous. There's a basically there's a two-way road in life. If you look into Napoleon Hill's work, I think he mentioned a story about an envelope, two envelopes, and I think one envelope was the envelope that when you open it, it takes you to a desired life, the life of riches, the life of um, excellent health, beautiful relationships, and so forth. And the other envelope is the envelope that takes you that leads you into poverty, strife, difficulties. So each person has a choice. We pick up one envelope or the other. It's a personal choice. So you pick up the good one. I recommend to you to pick up the envelope with the riches in it, because that way you'll be really grateful to yourself that you've made that choice. So again, the role, purpose, function, intention, what does it do for you? What does it get you? What does it give you? And what does it cost you? And it probably could have cost you a lot of things by now, like your health, maybe your relationships, maybe because you're procrastinating, not taking action. But remember, As I said, to take action, you've got to have a very clear image of what it is you want to do. You cannot just want something if you don't have a clear image. The wanting itself indicates that you don't have it. Now, hear me out again. Wanting something means that you don't have it. I want something because I don't have it yet. So I encourage one of you listening to me right now to you may ask yourself, what do you want? But stop saying I want. Maybe a little bit kind of this may be a bit, how can I say, contradictory. But the thing is, you need to know what you want. But stop saying that I want this, I want that. I need to have this, I need to have that. Because then you create more of the same. You create more of the want. You create more of the, I want a lot of money. Well, and then you recreate the same thing. You recreate, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money. The universe echoes everything you say because everything is energy and the universe is mental. The words we say reverberate through the matrix of the existence, through this quantum field of existence, and it brings back of that which we say. So instead of saying I want to have, say I already have, and check how you feel. I already have X amount of money. I already have amazing health. I already have the kind of relationship that I always desired, and better and better. Because that way, the subconscious mind and the quantum field responds to your words and your intent properly, giving you what it is you want, what you actually want, what you actually truly want. But it doesn't just give you what you want, it gives you what it is you see yourself already having, being, doing, experiencing. Having, being, doing, and experiencing. And emotion is the key. So you have to check how you feel about doing something. So if something feels like, this is going to be boring, it's going to take a lot of work, what if you were to tweak it up? I wonder if you could change that into curiosity and exploration and discovery. What if you could make it fun? What if you could simply be playful with it and just discover and explore step by step the whole experience, the whole process, and find out that it may be actually quite fun rather than overwhelming or difficult. So remember, my friends, whoever is listening to me, again, it's up to you what it is that you're focusing on. Where you focus on is where the energy goes. If you focus on difficulties and a certain type of imagery in your mind, that's what's going to manifest for you. If you focus on what it is you want, that's what's going to manifest for you. So focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Okay, and take action. And it's just as simple as, painting and painting. And it starts with picking up the brush and starting to draw or paint. So again, we have to identify the root causes on the subconscious level, the patterns, the beliefs, and your identity. Maybe you think you're just a loser, and that's your identity. But what if you could come up with a new identity, like choose some kind of a superhero, like Superman, Spider-Man, or something else that works for you. Maybe you can choose an avatar you can imagine becoming that is capable of overcoming any difficulty, any causes or reasons for procrastination, self-sabotage, or imposter syndrome. And if you step into this avatar, feel the way this avatar feels. I came up with a process called Phoenix Rising, um, which I find to be extremely powerful. For those of you who would like to learn it, reach out to me, let me know. You can reach me at martin@martinbogusz.com. I will leave my link here in the chat for those of you who would like to connect with me. But this Phoenix Rising is actually quite powerful, and I tried it many times in my life, and it helped me to transform. Part of the thing that a lot of people are missing out is using their imagination. The intention is very important, and a lot of people try to do things with willpower and intention. And unfortunately, intention and the willpower can burn out over time. And that's when people start to say, I tried everything, I feel overwhelmed, I feel like giving up. I've given all I got out of myself. But imagination is truly the key with the emotion. So if you can imagine yourself actually doing something and doing it happily, doing it with curiosity, doing it playfully, joyfully, then it's a completely different, you're going to have a different emotion associated with whatever you're doing compared to doing it just because you need to put a lot of effort into it. So going back to the solutions, right? I talked about the subconscious reasons, and I gave you guys a solution here today. For those of you who are watching right now, again, go back. You can watch the part where I talk about the solutions and apply it. And actually, as I said, leave me a note here in the chat what you discovered for yourselves. I'm quite sure it will help you all because I've tested these methods and they're very effective. The other thing I want to bring up here is, other than, as I said before, raising your standards, using your imagination, focusing on what it is you really want, and starting with one single action, and knowing what it is you want by actually seeing the image, envisioning yourself doing what it is you want, and simply taking one step at a time. Even smallest step you can make, like writing something down on a piece of paper, is already a big step. Sometimes I think it is, whenever it comes to achieving certain things, sometimes we divulge our intentions to other people, and what happens is sometimes people may be jealous, or they may not be wishing us well, and that can interfere actually with our realization of our goal. So sometimes I think it's really wise to keep your goals to yourself and just quietly focus on your goals. Maybe share with those people who you think can help you, but otherwise try to be humble and stay quiet. Because I learned in my life, whenever I tried to share too much with some people were jealous or not wishing me well, even sometimes among friends and family. And then it actually sabotaged my plans. Because the sabotage of our plans is not just internal. It doesn't just come from within us. It can also come from outside. Because again, everything is energy. when people are jealous and they don't wish us well, they can interfere with our manifestation of whatever it is we want to create. So, know what you want and keep it to yourself. Share it with the people that you think can help you along the way, but stay humble and just keep on paddling under the water like a duck, calm on the surface, but active under the water. Okay, the next thing I want to bring up here is, as I said, the strategies that you can create here, right? Remember, address the belief system, right? Check out your beliefs. Like, what is it that you believe about yourself? Like, I'm not good enough, for example, like I said, right? And then, what is the truth? Ask yourself, what is the truth? It could be, well, I may not be good enough right now, but I can get better. So identify your beliefs that are inhibiting you, for example. The next thing you can do is focus on strategies, as I said before. And part of the strategy could be, know what you want and create a plan, but break it down. Break your plan down into manageable chunks so that you can take one thing at a time. And instead of doing everything all at once, do it in smaller chunks and spend maybe shorter periods of time doing it. I also would recommend that you change your story. As I said, you identify your identity, change your story, or actually figure out what is your current story. Like, what is your story of your life right now? Maybe it's a story of somebody who's been struggling, who's been, like, who hasn't achieved anything in life, who's been just having difficulties and who's overwhelmed by the world. So my recommendation is that you identify your current story and come up with a new story that suits you. So that way your subconscious mind can have some sort of a way to focus the energy on the desired goal. So you can say, my new story is the story of transforming the difficulties into success. My new story is the story of someone who figured it out, who found a way, and who became unstoppable and on fire and actually capable of achieving anything I want and desire. So again, that's something that would be very useful to look into. The next thing I'd like to bring up once again is I would like to bring up once again the whole thing about the physiological causes. So on the physical level, I mentioned before, if the body is out of balance, like the liver is stagnant according to Chinese medicine, if there's liver qi stagnation or blood stagnation, and there is yang qi deficiency of the kidneys, which is usually, as I said, adrenal gland deficiency, and then you need to go seek somebody who perhaps does Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbal medicine, who can help you to correct those issues. For liver qi stagnation, for example, you can usually simply overcome it by exercise, simple exercise, even walking, and being in nature, especially somewhere green. And drinking water with lemon, for example, and honey, and apple cider vinegar may be very helpful. Again, if you are taking any medications, you might want to contact your medical practitioner to find out if it's safe to take your medications with, if you're drinking apple cider, just always stay um, responsible just in case you're taking any medications. But in general, if you're healthy, apple cider vinegar together with lemon and honey should be very helpful to move the liver stagnation. Again, I don't recommend anybody to self-diagnose. If you want help, as I said, seek a local healthcare practitioner, Chinese medicine practitioner. Contact me if you'd like. If you'd like, I'd love to help you. I'd love to serve you and to change your life. So yeah, if you have adrenal deficiency, qi deficiency of what's called yang qi deficiency of the kidneys, you got to build up the yang qi. Eat walnuts, for example. Walnuts, things that are rich in vitamin C. For example, sauerkraut is really great. It's got loads of natural biocompatible vitamin C that can boost your adrenal glands, and that can help you actually to recover your adrenal glands and regain more willpower. Another thing, I'm going to show you something very cool. If you do this mudra, look at that. If you take your hands together like this, interlock them, and make your middle finger standing upright like this, and hold this mudra for say 5-10 minutes. This mudra, it activates the root chakra. When it does that, it actually causes the energy to rise upright. Now, if you have high blood pressure, be a little careful with that one. Contact me, let me know if you have any health issues. But for those of you who are healthy, who have no health issues, try this. Middle finger together, fingers interlocked, and hold it for about 10 minutes. This will help you to boost your energy. Like even as I'm holding it right now, I'm feeling my root chakra activating. This will cause heat or warmth generating in your perineum, in your root chakra, which will actually help to raise the energy upright to keep you motivated. This is actually my little trick I personally would do in order to help myself to motivate myself more. For those of you who know yoga, doing things like prana purification or simple what is it called? Nadi Shuddhi, which is purification of the nadi channels, which is the Inda and Pingala, like using this particular mudra. You can close your left nostril for women. Inhale through your right nostril, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, exhale through the right, and continue that. And for men, you inhale through your right, exhale through the left, inhale right, exhale left, inhale left, exhale right, and continue doing that. This can help you to balance your energy as well, can create clarity of mind, can make your mind calm and peaceful. Because oftentimes, as long as the mind is overactive and there's a lot of stuff going on, how are you going to get the clarity? Clarity is power. If you're clear about what it is you want to do, and you can clearly see what it is you want to do, and you can envision it, and you can make clear decisions, then you will be able to execute what you're doing. Oftentimes, our mind is or can be compared to a jar of water with mud in it and sand and all kinds of debris. When you take this jar and you shake it, the mud, the dirt, it makes the water opaque and murky. It makes it very difficult for us to see through the jar. But if you put the jar on a surface and leave it for a while, you'll notice that the sediment is going to start to settle. And after some time, it will settle on the bottom, and you'll be able to see through the jar. The same thing is with our mind. When our mind is full of thoughts and we are out of balance energetically because we're always worrying about something in the future or concerned about something in the past, our energy is basically not just distorted, but basically it's scattered in many different directions rather than one purpose. So we need to bring the energy back to one focus. And the easiest thing to do is, again, clean up your channels, clean up the prana, that's stale in your body, like I just mentioned here a moment ago. For those of you, once again, who would like to learn this, I'm definitely more than happy to teach you some of these methods over Zoom. They're very easy to learn. Once you learn, they're yours for life, and they're very beneficial to your health as well. So I'd love to be of service to you. And once again, for those of you who would like to make an appointment with me, I invite you to reach out to me through email and set up a time with me so we can do some work on the subconscious level, and I can teach you some energy work that can help you to make shifts and to reprogram your mind, your subconscious mind, and help you to move forward. So I look forward to hearing from you. Once again, give me a like, comment, share, and ask questions. I'd love to hear from you guys and come up with new ideas of what we can talk about next. I hope you benefited from this, and till next time, be very well and take care.